Howdy, folks, and welcome back to Conscious Mosaic. As always, this is a channel for intelligent, in-depth analysis of movies, music, books, games, paintings, and other examples of the arts, generally from a progressive standpoint. So if that's something you're interested in, please like, comment, share, subscribe. Please check out my other videos. And if you'd like to, leave a request for something you'd like me to look at and analyze in the future, maybe just me or maybe one of the Geeky Friends Discuss segments where several of us do that. Today, however, I want to talk about the game Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout, which is one that I've been playing over the last couple of weeks. So initial impressions of Fall Guys, I really liked it. I thought it was a positive, happy game. I feel like there's a decent bit of variety in the levels. I feel like there's a lot of replayability in the levels. I don't always do so well in games that have a high degree of spatial cognition required. So you'll notice my eyes here. One of them is generally off to the side, though not always. So right now this one's off to the side, but if I close this eye, this one comes around and this one's off to the side. And if I close this eye, this one comes around. So this is due to brain damage I was born with. It's damage to my occipital lobe in an area that affects like eye movement, depth perception, tracking moving objects, things like that. So I may not ever do great at this game. You know, I think I've played it a total of 6 or 7 hours, and I've maybe gotten through the first round 2 or 3 times. But I still like the game quite a bit, and I think for most of you, most people don't have the visual and spatial impairment that I do. So I think for most people, it'd be a pretty good game that would have not too high of a learning curve as it does with me. Another thing I noticed about the game was I usually am a solitary gamer. I play a lot of retro games and I play other games that tend to be solitary. But for this game, and just recently, I've been looking for games that have more of a social component. So MMORPGs or other games where I can socialize with people. And at first, I was a little disappointed in that aspect of Fall Guys because I thought, oh, I can't type messages to other people. I can't talk to other people like auditorily. But then I realized something about the game, which is that there is a high degree of social interaction. It is just nonverbal interaction. So, for instance, I was kind of frustrated early on, especially with my visual impairment, because I just could not figure out, like, how do I get past these sweeping bars that always knock me off? How do I deal with the seesaw platforms? Different things like that. And I started, I was like, well, okay, I need some knowledge about how to get through these. I need to know how people are doing it. So I'm going to hang back and I'm going to watch other people. And I would hang back in one of those groups going through the seesaw platforms and notice a lot of times they do kind of a zigzag sort of a motion to keep the seesaws level enough to travel on. Or, I would notice how quickly they jumped or reacted to the bars that were sweeping by, or how they were timing, when the paddles come down for the windmills, or when the metal blades come by in the medieval levels. And by watching people, I learned a lot. I think I learned a lot from the DoorDash levels, which they're like these levels where there are a set of doors, but some of them are really walls and they will not move. And some of them, when you touch them, they spring out and they leave a gap where you can jump through and proceed on through the level. And it was interesting watching, there are always those people that start out really early on that hit the doors and they don't know yet which doors are going to open. And so sometimes because they hit the wrong doors, they have to stop and go around to the openings where the real doors were. And they end up maybe getting eliminated or being held back. But you kind of admire those people that went out first testing doors. Like sometimes I'm that first person because maybe I'll get through, and if not, maybe I can help other people. I was brought in mind, of the Fall Guys equivalent of that Isaac Newton quote. If I've seen further, it's because I stand on the backs of giants, right? Some of those people early on, like those early scientists, they may have not gotten as far as they wanted or met the goals that they wanted to, but they created this great group information that gets passed on and peer reviewed by others and tested by others. And this is the same with Fall Guys. Like some of those early people that hit the doors might get knocked back, but they're the reason that I can go on, and I thought that's really a great thing. If you get eliminated, you can still watch all the other people go through all the other levels until they get to the end, which with the blocks that disappear as you jump on them, which I kind of think of as the Cubert levels. I've never been to one of the Cubert levels, but it's great to watch these great players go all the way through and get there. Except for there are a couple of levels that you're on teams, but other than that, you're trying to be the person that wins. And it's you would think ultimately competitive, But actually, this factor of holding back, the fact that the main way of learning is by watching other people that play well, it really put me in mind of the nature of competition and what I think it should be. I think when I was going through school, and I think it's been getting worse and worse every year, you see like coaches and teachers that push kids to compete with each other so hard. In sports, sometimes it causes injuries, and a lot of times it causes hurt feelings and arrogance on the part of the players that do excel. It can cause jealousy and squabbles and things. You see it in choir competitions and theater competitions, things where competition, which it can be very wonderful, is overemphasized. And I like with Fall Guys that anyone that wins, you have the ability to watch them win. It's a show. They talk about it as a show. It's everybody's watching. We're an audience of players, but if we get eliminated, we become also the audience for the best players. And so what happens with Fall Guys is you get these people that excel, that are able to get through these levels. And I mean, they're really, I have to have a lot of skills. And, I might admire them more because of my impairment, but still, it takes a lot of skill to be one of the winners of these levels, to be 1 out of 60 that's able to get through all these obstacles. And it's a sense that competition arises from cooperation, right? They watch these other great players and how they negotiated the levels, and that helped them to excel. And that is the kind of competition that we need to be emphasizing. Competition that comes from cooperation, that comes from nurturing each other, teaching each other. And I love that it's in a nonverbal way. We have, so much of the time, the teacher's job is to lecture and tell us what we ought to know or tell us what we need to do. But I would encourage teachers to play Fall Guys or other games or create other scenarios where leadership has to be entirely nonverbal, where somebody has to do something, as an example, instead of telling you or telling and doing, right? I think it's very valuable to learn things in that way. Fall Guys is a great way to learn things. So I hope you enjoy the game. Please comment and tell me, what did you think of the game? Do you like this competition from cooperative nature? What did you learn from other players in the game? And what are some of your favorite players that do such a great job both of excelling and winning these levels, but in so doing, teaching others how to win those levels? So please comment and let me know. And I hope you all have a fantastic day.